What's up everybody? For those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Luigi, a recent USC graduate and a current medical school applicant. So in the stage of the application cycle that I'm in right now, I'm just waiting for interview invites and to actually do the interviews and wait and see if I'm gonna be accepted. This means that I'm done with the primary and secondary portion of my applications, which means that for this cycle, I'm basically done with all of the spending that I need to apply for medical school. Now, typically this isn't the case, but with the coronavirus, all of the interviews for medical school are just going to be virtual, which means that I don't need to buy plane tickets, book hotels, and actually spend some traveling money to go to different medical schools that decide to invite me for an interview. But as I was reflecting and looking back at all of the spending that I've done, just with sending all the primary applications to about 30 schools, and doing secondaries for 30 schools, it really piled up and it cost a lot of money. If you guys watched my previous video about taking a gap year, you'll see that for financial reasons, taking a gap year could be really effective because it gives you time to find a job and to start working as you're applying, which will help with the expenses that you need for medical school. But for this video, I want to talk to you guys more about what you can do during college so that you can start saving money so that when the time comes for you to apply, you won't have to worry about it at all and you can just focus on your applications. So the examples that I'll be bringing up don't just necessarily apply to pre-med students. The examples that I'll be bringing up are relevant for any students of any majors, so it covers a broad range of different activities that you could do to help earn money. So let's start with example number one, which is scholarships. So from my experience going to USC, I've been trying to look into scholarships ever since my first semester. Not only is it a good way to make your resume look better, but at the same time, it also helps with funding for your education. Some scholarships, what they do with the monetary prize that they give out is it goes directly into funding for your tuition, while other scholarships directly give the money to your bank account. So it's for more of a personal use. But the main thing with scholarships is you have to go out and find them yourself. Sometimes, your advisors might be sending emails to you about a bunch of opportunities that you may have. But other times you'll have to go out into the school website and look at each specific scholarship that they offer and see if it applies directly to you. And that's exactly what I had to do to find the scholarships that I applied for. I went onto USC's website. They have a website specifically for scholarships. And I just had to read each one, read the descriptions and see if it applies to me. If it applies for a different major, then I just will disregard it. But yeah, what I recommend is for you to go into your school website, look at the list of scholarships that they offer and just see which one you can apply to. The worst thing that could happen is, maybe you spend a couple of hours trying to apply for it and you'll be rejected or you don't win anything. But at the same time, the positive rewards that you could get from that is way higher than the risk of losing a couple of hours of your time. So the next opportunity that I want to bring up is being a student brand ambassador. For 3 years out of my whole 4 years of undergrad, I was a student brand ambassador for KAPLAN. For some of you guys that may not know, KAPLAN is an organization that focuses on helping students with test prep. So some students that are trying to pursue a career in medicine have to take the MCAT. Some students that are pursuing law have to take the LSAT. Most students have to take the GRE or the GMAT to proceed further along their career. So there's a lot of different kinds of tests that KAPLAN can help with by being a student brand ambassador for them. So as a student brand ambassador, my role was to reach out to different organizations and talk to them about how their organization can help by providing different test prep materials and basically giving different kinds of resources. So with my role, since I was already a pre-med student, I had access to different pre-med organizations and I primarily focused on talking to them about how KAPLAN offers different kinds of MCAT resources and MCAT test prep materials. This job benefited me in more ways than just earning money. Since I was a pre-med student and I needed to take the MCAT, by forcing myself to be more knowledgeable about the MCAT so that I can present better to different organizations, I was able to basically be more prepared when I'm actually taking the MCAT too. And another big benefit that KAPLAN gave me was, since I've shown my dedication over a long period of time, they were able to pay for my KAPLAN MCAT prep. Rather than paying a couple of thousands of dollars, they were able to sponsor me for that and I was able to get it for free if I decided to go with KAPLAN, which I did. So whether you're a pre-med student, a law student, a business student, being a student brand ambassador for KAPLAN is definitely worth it in my opinion, because you'll get the free test prep program that they offer, and you also get paid for working as a student brand ambassador. But being a student brand ambassador doesn't just limit you to Kaplan. There's a lot of other brands out there that want you to basically raise awareness in your campus about their brands. So it's just your job to basically try to find what those brands are and see if they fit with what you actually like to do, so that it's easier for you to go out there and talk about them. So now moving on to number 3, tutoring. So with tutoring, you can approach it in 2 different ways. You can either fly solo and just put word out there that you're offering tutoring for classes that you've already taken. So this isn't really under the jurisdiction of the school, and that means that there is some risk involved. You just have to be very careful with how you teach and make sure that you don't give off previous material that the professors say that you're not allowed to give out to other people, because that could just lead you into a whole world of problems that you don't want to have to deal with. By taking this route, you're basically able to be more profitable because you're in charge of yourself, and you can charge your clients or the students that want to get tutoring from you whatever price you feel is reasonable. From my personal example, I was a human biology major, and in my last year I was able to be a tutor for the physiology class under the human biology department. My role wasn't the typical tutoring that you'd think of where it's a one-on-one interaction with a student. My role was more of being a peer tutor for the whole class. So what I had to do was I had to create worksheets that covered the lessons that the professor talked about for the whole week, and I also had to create exam prep materials to help the students excel in the test. So this means that I had to stay in constant contact with the professor, and I also had to have exceeded and done really well in the class so that he would have picked me to become the tutor. So by being in constant contact with the professor, I'm able to know what his plan is for the week or for the whole semester, and in my point of view, basically determine what is the best way to help the students prepare for his lectures and for his exams. In order to do really well in this role, you basically have to have done really well in the class, understand all of the lessons and know what's actually happening, and at the same time be in constant contact with the professor so that you guys can agree on how to best teach the students. But ultimately, you need to be very good at communicating to people and being comfortable with standing in front of a large crowd of people. If your class that you're tutoring for happens to have 100 people, sometimes, maybe over 50 students would attend your sessions, and you need to be able to answer all of their questions and to explain to each and every one of the people there what you're trying to teach. Another advantage that could come out of this besides getting paid is the fact that you're working on your social skills, you're working on your teaching skills, but more importantly, you're also able to develop a connection with a professor, which could turn into a letter of recommendation later down the road. The next example is working as a research assistant. Being a pre-med student, research is really important in making your application look good. So for me, I knew I definitely needed to do research. And when I applied for different positions as a research assistant, I realized that some were paid, but some were not. Either way, what I fell into was a research assistant position that wasn't paid. But at the same time, what I realized was it also presented a lot of opportunities to apply for different scholarships that is more geared towards research specific scholarships. So with this route, I would only really recommend it for students that need to do research. For example, I know pre-med students need to do research, and a lot of other science majors need to do research as well. So if that kind of matches with what you're planning on taking for college or whatever your major is in college, then I would definitely suggest working as a research assistant, because there's a lot of benefits out there besides getting paid, possibly applying for the scholarships that might be offered, and building a connection with the professors, as well as building a lot of different skills that you might need later on in your career. And the last opportunity that I want to bring up to make money while you're in college is to basically build off of your own personal hobbies. For example, if you're good at painting, you could draw up different kinds of masterpieces and sell it to people that might be interested in buying it for decoration. If you're good at photography, you can offer to take photo shoots for people for a certain price. And yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do out there. As long as you know what your hobbies are, you can think of a way to basically monetize it and just build off of it and stay committed to it. From a personal example, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm really into sneakers. So what I did was I basically started online stores from different platforms. You have Depop, Poshmark, OfferUp, Mercari. I just went on all of those different platforms and started kind of like a sneaker reselling business off of that. So what I would do is I would spend like a couple of minutes per day, maybe an hour sometimes, just looking for sneakers that I can buy for cheap, cleaning them up once I have them in my hands, and taking better pictures of them and reselling them for a higher price. So through this method, I was able to get maybe a $20 to $30 profit after selling each sneaker. So it may seem small, but over time, as you develop your rapport and you become more well-known throughout the app, it's way easier to start selling sneakers. At the end of the day, it's just really important to find what you actually like doing so that you can stay committed to it and keep working on it. At first, it might not be easy to build money off of it, but over time, if you stick to it, the progress will definitely show. So as long as you keep grinding, the results will follow. I hope you guys found this video really helpful, because I know from personal experience that going to college, especially applying for grad school, that could be really expensive. So it's a good idea to start saving up money from the beginning of your college career. But at the same time, it's also important to keep in mind that you need to focus on your grades, because especially if you're applying for grad school, if you spend so much time trying to make money that you're kind of letting go of your grades and it's slipping, applying to grad school won't be successful for you, and you might end up wasting more money by needing to apply for 2 cycles rather than just 1 if you have prioritized your grades. So it's always remember to keep your priorities in check. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. If you guys enjoyed it and found my content really helpful, make sure to hit that like button down below. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button too. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one.